A bunch of flooring just showed up. This is half of it here. The other half's in the other room where we're going to be starting. But just to update, I got this window framed in and done. I was able to salvage most of what was there when I made the mistake before, because I just had to take these two inner panels and flip them. That's this guy and that guy, because the window's in kind of crooked. So one side had to be wider to go flush with the drywall than the other. But yeah, that's all painted and fixed up. The door, I got that fixed. This is the closet door from just on the other side of this wall. This whole section where the hinges were was actually coming out of the door. It looked like they did what we did when we were adjusting the bottoms, which was to cut this out and then reinsert the bottom plate. But whoever did it didn't use good enough glue or didn't clamp it or do anything, so it was coming out. So I've re-glued that, got that back in, clamped it so we could paint that up. And then we got to take that guy off the wall, which they buried the screws. It's got some putty or wood filler or something over, so we'll have to dig them out so we can just paint in here. I got to touch up the ceiling in here because I forgot about it. I thought I had done it, but apparently I didn't, which will be the same for just in there too. But we did get all the door frame mostly painted in there, and you can see what a difference that makes. This door's got to be adjusted. You can see down on the bottom there, the far right corner, just it's coming right down to the floor, so I won't be able to get the flooring underneath it. We'll have to adjust that, and that's just from the center sinking down. All the exterior walls on older houses are up a little more, and everything kind of curves down a bit, so you can see the drop, how much the floor dropped over its 100 years on the bottom of the door, which is probably square. Even on the top of the door, they had to recut it. You can notice it's a little thicker over there and thinner over there. Here they dealt with it with a strip of wood here, and they put it in, and you can see the difference in order to kind of create a top. It was kind of the wrong way to do it, but it's what they did. We got that little bit of painting to do. Once that's in, we can start dropping forward. We're going to pre-paint the baseboards and have them ready to go. So you can see the flooring here. It's a little lighter, a little less gray. It has a little bit of natural wood color in it. It should work good against the light walls. I'll show you in the front room. I got a couple pieces out there, even with the white here. Really brighten the space out. I mean, if you imagine the lights coming in through all these windows, hitting the dark floor. Once the light floor is in, this room will just absolutely pop between the ceiling and that. So yeah, we should paint this tomorrow, and by Wednesday be laying floor, and probably have that done Wednesday or Thursday to get it to just outside here, and then run the baseboard all the way around, and this room will be done once that happens by the end of the week. The flooring is going to run opposite to what's down now, so rather than run here, it's going to run up. So when you walk in the room, apparently it's supposed to elongate it, although another guy told us you should run with the light. But just standing here looking at these smaller floors, I think I'd prefer them to run that way anyway, and it means I can do longer, straighter runs without having to cut 5 pieces, cut one, although that can come back to bite you if you have to get a really thin piece up that wall. But we'll see. I did it in the basement bedroom, no problem, so I don't think I'll have an issue here. This is the flooring here, and you know, you can kind of see against the white trim and the dark walls, once the whole floor is done in this, how much light you'll get back in the room between the cabinets. All the trim in, once the baseboards, especially along here, are all in. When we're done with the bathroom, we can frame this guy when we know what's going on here, and then having that lighter floor. And this is just the light coming in off the window there. The light above me is not on. It looks a little grayer in here, but it's not a natural. It's more of a natural. This was the lighter gray that they had initially that I was thinking. You see how the one I went with has just a little more natural feel to it. Plus this goes really dark to really light, and then the next one will be really light, and the next one will be really dark. This one's more consistent, where you do get some darker spots in it, but it's not panel to panel, where this one can do it panel to panel. I I think I'll get more light reflection off this, and it'll just brighten the whole room up. As much as I like the grays, I think I'm gonna live with that one a little better, which is why I went with it. I just talked myself into it at the store. They told me they were sold out, and I was trying to talk myself into something else. And the guy came over and said they found a skid of it at the warehouse, so he brought them in today. And there's the other half of the pile there. So yeah, the front side of the house should be done by the weekend. The kitchen, my sister told me the island and the refrigerator are ready. I'm just waiting for my cabinet guy to get the sides to cover all the screws. The fridge might be wider in this space, but it looks like the oven's too wide. Actually, it's over 2 and it's almost 32 1/4. It's supposed to be just slightly over 30 to slide your stove in there. So the problem I had at the door with the fridge being too wide, pushing that cabinet over too far, might actually be solved here. I might just have to trim this cabinet here, or actually my cabinet guy do it. Bring that back about 1 3/4 inches or so to get me down to 30 1/8, and then these two guys can actually come back in and we can open what we need to on this, because it looks like the fridge is wider in this space, and slide this back the difference without really affecting this cabinet. It might actually buy us a little room to push it that way so I don't have interference with the trim, but this might be able to sit off this sit off the wall a little bit. There's a countertop going on that can always notch into the trim, but yeah, and then I just have to figure out backsplash for this section and over here. I don't think I'm going to backsplash here. I can actually probably put those light switches on since that's pretty done, and actually those two as well. But yeah, rocking and rolling.